the information related to the soil structure. Okay, so first of all, we'll see what is meant by soil structure. Then in this soil structure there are different structures. These structures are single grain structure, honeycomb structure, flocculated structure, dispersed structure, coarse grain skeleton, and clay matrix structure. Okay, these are the soil structure. Depending on the type of soil, there are which contains different types of structure. Okay, so first we'll see what is a soil structure. Okay, a soil structure, the way of which the individual particles are stick together in the soil medium, and these particles are of sand, silt, and clay, which are assembled together, and it is a geometrical arrangement of soil particles with respect to each other. Okay, soil structure is nothing but the geometrical arrangement of soil particles which consist of sand, silt, and clay. Okay, and the different soil have different soil structure depending on its composition and its nature of the particles. Okay, and then the soil structure is formed by natural deposition. Okay, the soil structure is formed by the natural deposition, and which can be also altered by the application of some external force like some loading, some vibrations. Okay, so this photograph shows the different soil types. Okay, as we can see, this black soil is a granular soil. Okay, this is blocky soil, as it has some lumps. Okay, this soil is called as blocky soil. Then this is some some plate type of soil. This soil is called as platy soil. This is the lump with higher size, so therefore is called as massive. And this soil contains very high amount of fine fraction, so is called as, or grain fraction is called as single grain soil. Okay, so these are different soils. Depending on this soil type, there are different structures. So for coarse grain soil, there are two soil structure. These structures are single grain structure and honeycomb structure for coarse grain soil. Okay, similarly for clay soil, there are two structure. These structure are flocculated structure and dispersed structure. Okay, and for both mixed soil, which contains cohesion and angle of friction, okay, C5 soil, we called it as C5 soil. This C5 soil contains coarse grain skeleton and clay matrix structure. Okay, so these are the major 6 types of structure depending on the type of soil. Okay, so first of all we'll see single grain structure. Okay, this single grain structure is formed by settlement of the coarse grain particles in the water medium. Okay, so this single grain structure, this is water medium, and this is formed by settlement of coarse grain particle, okay, under the action of gravitational force. Okay, and then this arrangement looks like the stacking of oranges. Okay, as we can stack the oranges in this manner, this structure looks like this stacking of oranges. Okay, this is single grain structure. Then depending on the relative position of soil particles, these are the soil particles. So these are depending on the relative position of soil particles, this structure is divided into loose single grain structure and dense single grain structure. Okay, so the soil particles are very space from each other. Then this structure is called as loose structure. In this loose structure, the voids ratio, this voids ratio is the ratio of volume of voids to the volume of soil solid. Okay, so I will explain this in my next video. And for dense single grain structure, the voids ratio is 0.35. okay, and for the smaller void ratio, the shear strength and compressibility of the soil is lower. Basically, for more stabilized soil, we require higher shear strength and lower compressibility. Okay, and the example of this single grain structures are gravel and sandy soil. Okay, this is single grain structure. Next is honeycomb structure. So basically, this is the pictorial view of honeycomb structure. So in this honeycomb structure, the sand and silt particles are stick to each other in such a way that we can see the bridge formation in the soil medium. Okay, so ridge formation in the soil medium. Then the skeleton, this skeleton looks like the arch effect, okay, overlying material like arch or carries the weight of overlying material, okay. And this structure get forms when the particle size varies from 0.0 to 0.002 mm to 0.2 mm, okay. And the attraction between the soil particles which is due to the strong bonding force between the soil particles, and this force is called as cohesion, okay. And this honeycomb structure can sustain the load under static loading condition, okay. For gradual loading condition, this honeycomb structure can sustain the load, okay. Then next is flocculated structure, okay. So this flocculated structure in clay soil, the clay soil contains the particles like these plates, okay. These plates like particles are occurs in clay soil. These particles have negative charge on its surface and positive charge on its face, okay. So in this flocculated structure, the negative charge surface plates are connected to the positive charge edge of this clay soil particles, okay. So this connection forms, and this structure is called as flocculated structure, okay. So this structure, the stability of this structure is due to the net attractive force between these particles, okay. This is net attractive force between the particles in flocculated structure, okay. So basically this structure forms when the clay particles settled in salty water, okay. So if the water is salty and in this salty water clay particles settle, then this type of structure get formed, okay. So this structure is light in weight, obviously void ratio is very high, okay, and water content is also higher as it is clay and having higher void ratio, okay, and permeability is also higher, okay. And at the same time it is also have some moderate shear strength, okay. This is flocculated structure, okay. Then next is dispersed structure. So when the clay soil rework or make reshaped or remolded, then this structure forms. This structure is called as dispersed structure. So in this dispersed structure, these are the clay particles, and the position of clay particle is such that they are occurs parallel to each other. However, they also spaced at some distance from each other. This is due to the repulsion force between the clay particles, as these clay particles contains negative charge on its surface and positive charge on its edge portion, okay. Then this dispersed structure have low shear strength, permeability and high compressibility, okay. This structure have low shear strength, permeability and high compressibility. Then we will see the coarse grained skeleton and clay matrix structure. Basically this type of structure occurs in both C5 soil, which also contains cohesion and some frictional angle of internal friction also, okay. So in this coarse grained skeleton, the particles contains different types. So this coarse grained skeleton contains some sandy particles and clay particles, okay. In this soil, the amount of sandy particle, which are coarse grained particles, this amount is higher than the clay particles, and these sandy particles are in contact with each other. So these are connected with each other. Therefore, as they are connected, the sufficient load transformation occurs in this coarse grained skeleton, which also supposed with this structure is also supposed for bearing the higher load from all over the soil structures, okay. And the space between these sandy particles is occupied by the clay particles, okay. Then in this coarse grained skeleton, clay matrix structure, the amount of clay particles is higher. The amount of clay particles is higher than the amount of sandy particle. Okay, and as the amount of clay particle is higher, the sandy particles or clay coarsen particles are not in contact with each other. Okay, as the clay medium is higher. Okay, and this clay matrix structure have the similar property like a clay soil. Okay, and the clay this structure is behaves like a completely clay soil. So today we have seen the different soil structure. So first we have understood the different types of soil structure. Then in which we have also seen the single grain structure, honeycomb structure, flocculated structure, dispersed structure, coarse grain skeleton, and clay matrix structure. Okay, thank you.